Alright guys, welcome to this series. This is going to be a quick refresher of most, if not all, of the building drawings in preparation for your CSEC examinations on the 11th, I believe, 2026. Hopefully these videos are going to be really short. I'm not going to be going into detail as I usually do about explaining how to do every single thing. Because I want to keep these videos short as possible so people can look at them and kind of get a refresher of how to do each of these drawings. Some of the things that I am going to do are not exactly the way you would do it whenever you are trying to actually do building drawings, architectural drafting drawings. But these are the these practices are fairly common, but they are also the way I think is the best way to approach the exam. Alright, you'll see more about that as we go through. So let's get straight into it. So I already have my project set up here. There's a few things that you should know before we start. This project, and maybe I might leave a link in the description so that you could download this this project. Annotations. I already have my layer set up for my walls, my openings, doors and windows. I have both of them. Should be one, etc. Right? Roof outline, etc. But if you're not using the project, you'll have to create your own. Secondly, for my annotations, and this is important, I have some styles set up already. This style that I'm using, the text style, the side, it is an annotative text style, which means whatever text height I declare here, which is 3 millimeters, it is going to always be 3 millimeters no matter what scale the drawing is at. Okay, so whenever we write text and we're using this and it's annotative and it says 3 millimeters, it doesn't matter if the scale is 1 to 50, 1 to 10, anything like that, it's always going to show us 3 millimeters on paper, which is what we use. Secondly, the annotative I have for the dimension style, the it's also annotative dimension style. So that means same thing with the text is always going to be one size no matter what scale we're using. And if you notice, we're pulling the text style in the dimensions from the same text style that we created, that I showed you just a second ago. You can see it right here. The text height is 3. Okay, and same thing for the multi-leader style. I am using standard, but it is annotative, so it is always going to be the same size no matter what. All right, so this is the second thing that is very important, is that in this setup, whenever we're doing the drawings, we are going to draw them in whatever scale from the get-go, from the beginning. So if the drawing says, in this case, draw to a scale of 1 to 50, when we are drawing, we are going to put this to 1 to 50 immediately, and we're going to draw. All right. If you're drawing a solid continuous line, it's not going to make a difference. But if you are drawing hidden lines, then sometimes you have to change your line type scale in order to see the dashes, make the dashes a little bit bigger. Well, in this case, the dashes, sometimes you have to change your line type scale to 1,000. Well, in this case, you might just have to change it to 20 because you're drawing at a bigger scale, well, a smaller scale than 1 to 1. All right, so I hope that was clear. Let's get right into it, and everything else would make more sense, I hope. All right, so we're going to be doing this drawing. Hopefully this video will be under 20 minutes. So this drawing is going to be a floor plan for us. As you could see, the room is 30 by 3000 millimeters for each of these rooms. and this storage is 1200 millimeters. This office space is 3000 by 2400, etc. So this is going to be an opening. Let's get right into it. We're going to be referring to these specifications, and please, when you're doing your exams, always refer to your specifications. So they're not always going to be the same. In this case, I have 100 millimeters thick internal walls, but I'm going to use 150 because most times in the exam, I see both external and internal, the same 150. So let's use 150 for both of them. External doors 900, internal doors 750. Let's get right into it. So what I like to do is draw one room at a time, and then I'm going to expand. I'm going to build out the house. So let's start with the storage. This is 3000 by 1200. So my line tool, let me switch to my wall layer. Line tool here, this is 3000, and I come down 1200. Alright, so this comes across 3000 again, and then I'm going to close it off by pressing C. Good. So let me offset, and I'm going to offset to show my wall thicknesses immediately. So this, I'm offsetting outwards, because if I go inwards, then my room is going to be smaller. So outwards. So there you have it. That's the storage room. Now we need the office space right next to it, 1200 millimeters down. I can draw a line coming down like this, 2400 millimeters. Or I could have offset 2400 millimeters from this line. Same thing. I would still need to draw that line. I could offset this one across 3000, or I could just draw the line 3000. There's more than one way to do these things. And then we're going to offset 150 for these wall thicknesses, to show the wall thickness. And then we have this room, the reception area over here, 3000 across, and wherever this wall ends, this one will line up with it. Okay, so offset 3000 across, then I'm going to offset 150. Oh lord, where is it? Offset 3000. All right, and then offset 150 for the thickness of the wall. Draw my line across this way. Offset 150 for the thickness of the wall, and then I'm going to use the fillet tool, multiple, and make sure the radius is set to 0. Right. So now I'm going to fillet this with this, and then I need to connect a line, this line with another line here, but I haven't drawn this one as yet. So let me just put this one in. Now you could do this multiple ways. You could bring them across like this and then trim them out, or you could fillet them like what I just did. All right, so let's close up all of these gaps using the fillet tool again, multiple, and make sure the radius is set to 0. It is set to 0 because we never changed it. So we're going to do here, 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 and then we want to join this line and that line. So J, enter, this line and this line, J, enter, this line, J, enter. So there we have that. Now the next thing I want to do is this opening. I don't have the specifications. Actually, yes, I do. 2100. So if I let me offset a line, or maybe I could draw a line in here temporarily, and then offset it 2100 downwards. This is where it would be. Perfecto. And then I could delete that. So in here would be clear. So let me trim this out, and then I'm going to let me join these two, and then I'm going to redraw these lines. Now if you notice my perpendicular snap is showing up there, I think that helps. If you need to make sure the line is straight with the author mode, go ahead and do that. Now the reason why I drew back these lines is because I need to make them hidden. Okay, it's not showing up right now, so I need to change the properties it's already open on the side here for me. I'm just showing you how to get to it, and I could change this to, let's see, 10. Okay, let's do 20. Now if you were drawing at the scale of 1 to 1, you might have had to type 1,000 for it to get like this. Alright, so this is fine, but let me make it a little bit thinner. So I think 5.50 is my thing, and turn it to 0.30, a little thinner. Good. So we have that. Now what we need now are our doors and windows. So let me go to the doors and windows layer. The specification says my doors, external door is 900 wide, 2000 high. The height doesn't matter for my floor plan, and the internal is going to be 750. So line tool, we're going to go up 900, and I'm across, maybe I should have gone across first, 900, and then use my arc tool, center start in, boom, right, okay. And now I could just delete that, and then I need the other one. So let me do 750 and then 750, and then use the arc tool, center start in, and connect those and delete that line. Alright, so I have my door for here and I have my door for here. So let me put in my external door. This one swings that way, so I need to rotate this, select here as my rotation, and then 90 degrees so it flips. Let's move it this to the side, and I want it to be in line with the wall. So I would just draw a line here temporarily so that I could connect this end to the line. Okay, and I can always delete this. I'm not leaving any space. And then over here, so let's see, this is the door is swinging right there. So I need to just I'll use the mirror tool, bring it across, hit no, well, yes, hit yes. I should have hit yes, but you get the point. Let's move this one, and I'm going to just put it up here somewhere. All right. I don't want this one jammed up to the wall. So now let's go back to the wall layer, and then I'm going to draw some lines like this, 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 like that. And let's trim out this one. There's going to be a step up to the house, and there's not going to be any difference in the floors. So there's not going to be a step down or a step up when it's changing from one room to the next in this case. Alright, so now we need the windows, two windows here and here. So let's see, windows, casement type windows, 4 feet by 4 feet, 1200 millimeters wide, 1200 high. So we only need to worry about the width. So let's do 1200, and it's going to take the width of the wall, which is 150 by 1200. All right, now close it off, and then I'm going to draw two lines in the middle. So let's see, I'm going to put a line in the middle here, and then I'm going to offset each line, let's say 15. I'm just coming up with these numbers. If it doesn't look right, I will change it. So offset 15, going up, going down. Good. So I'll delete the one in the middle. So now I have my casement style. I need a line in the middle, and the reason why is going to be a double swinging, a double casement window. So it's going to be swinging, opening out this way and this way. So that's why I have this one in the middle right here. Alright, it really should, maybe I could make it look a little bit better by doing that. But if you have one line, that's fine also. Alright, so let me just take these out. Alright, so that's my casement window. I'll make a copy of it, and I'll just bring it and put it in the center of this room. It doesn't specify. Anything that is not specified is left up to your discretion. So I need this one to be rotated. Select a midpoint, base point 90 degrees, and then let's grab it in the middle and then put it in this midpoint of this wall. Alright, so there we have all our doors, all our windows and walls in place. Now all we need to do, I'm going to go to my hatch layer. I'm going to choose this one and then put the hatch inside. Now I can change this immediately. Let's put it to 20. See what that does. Nothing. 10. Let's wait a minute. Let's try 1,000. Okay, so you'll have to experiment with some numbers to see what works best. All right, so let me just put in the others. So my mouse is kind of lagging a bit there. I think my computer's running a bit too much. All right, so we have the hatch in the wall. And now let's put in, we have the roof outline, so we can see it's a hip roof. Does it specify the overhang? I don't think it does, but your exam would usually tell you. So maybe 600 millimeters. So let me switch to the roof layer, but then I'm going to offset 600 millimeters all of these walls. This one, that one. A nice way to do this would be to join these layers, join these lines, and then, you know, when you offset, it will offset all of them. But radius is 0. Yes, let's check it. So I'm gonna come fillet these. All right, and then I'm gonna switch these to my roof layer. Now this roof layer is supposed to be, it is hidden lines, but it's not as thick. It's not as the line type scale is not what it usually, but it should be. Let's try 20. I think that's good. See how 30 looks. 20, maybe 25. All right, and then let's do, is this set to 45 degrees? Right, so let's do 45 degrees this way, that way, this way, and that way, and then one in the middle, the ridge, broken ridge. And then I'm just gonna match properties of these ones to all of these here. All right, so there I have my roof outline. I just need to put in my where's my text. No, this is where the annotation comes in, because I have I'm not going to change anything. I'm just showing you. I have my text. It is annotative, and the text height is going to be 3. Notice it says paper text height. So that means when it shows up on paper, it is going to be 3 millimeters. All right. So let me put in the text. So this right here is my rotation angle is 0. This is my reception area. So all caps reception. And then let's do, I'm just going to copy that, paste that, double click to edit, and this would be my storage, and this would be my office. Now this is not a realistic drawing. Please don't try to take this design. I don't know why you would have an office with an archway leading straight into it, no door. Alright, so the only thing left now is just to dimension and put a title under the drawing. So let's go to my dimension layer, go to linear, and again this is where the annotative comes in, because the scale is set to 1 to 50, when I put my dimensions down and I go to the paper layout and I set the scale to 1 to 50, the text height is always going to be 3 millimeters. Okay, so let me come here. So the first level of dimensions is going to be from the corner to the opening. So let me put this about 1200 millimeters away. You don't have to do it exactly like this. You could choose your own. I'm going 1200 because it's farther than the 900 millimeter door. Because when I dimension this side, I don't want my dimensions to cross my door. Alright, so let me just come here and continue, and then I'll do this to the width of the opening, and then there's no more opening, so straight to the other end. Okay, and the next thing we can do to dimension is like this. We could do the overall measurement. Okay, and I'll put it, let's say 1800 away. Okay, now what we can do now is just dimension the inside, so we know the size of the room. So that's 3000, and this is actually, that's 21 right there. And then let me put another dimension from this end to that end. Alright, so this tells us the dimensions of the room, 3000 by 3750. This tells us where the window is positioned, and then we know the overall width of the entire building. So this is one way you could do it. The way that I like to teach people, as most of you would know. So by the way, if you're doing it this way, you would just dimension all the sides outside, and then you would dimension the inside of the room. This one is needed because we need to know the distance of this wall, the length of this wall. Alright, so if we're not going to do it this way, and the way that I usually recommend dimensioning is to keep the first level of the first row of dimension from wall to from the corner to the window, right? And then show the opening, if it's a door, if it's a window. And then the second one, we do the wall thickness. Let's put this one 1800 away, and I'm going to clean this up one time. So I'm going to move with leader over the other side, and then I'm going to continue. So we have the wall thickness, and then we have the width of the room. From here to here, the room is 3000. So you see this is the same 3000 that was inside. And then we're going to show the other wall thickness, and then the width of this other room, and then the wall thickness again. Okay, so let me just select these and then bring them out. Like so, right? Because I don't want them crossing over the lines. And then let me clean this up one time. Move with leader. Okay, and finally, I'm just going to put the overall now. So you see, with this one, I get the same measurements. I get to see the inside, the measurements of the inside, the width of the rooms right here. But I also get to see the wall thickness when I do it like this. When you do it the other way, you don't get the wall thickness. And for your exams, they might not penalize you for that, so it's all good. So let me just do the other side real quickly. The last time I did a drawing like this, I did not do it all the way around. You don't have to memorize how far I'm putting my dimension line. This is just my preference. This is just what I came up with. So we have those wall thickness. Let's put this 1800. Flip it on the other side. Wait a minute. Move with leader. So, and then continue. I hope the video is not getting too long already. It's probably going to be a 30-minute video. Because I stopped to explain a few things and then this start. Alright, so we have that, and then finally let me get the overall measurement for the entire thing, like so. Notice I'm just eyeing this but it's very consistent. It looks consistent. So we just need to um, select all of these so I could bring these out, because I don't want my extension lines to be crossing my drawing. All right, everything is already set up in my file to have the, the distance from the origin and all that. So this side over here, there are no windows. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the wall thickness first, because there's no row for windows and doors. Wall thickness first, and then we're gonna continue that and do the width of the room here, here, and then this one, and then I click up here because there's nothing to click down here. Yeah. And then I could select all of these and bring them down like so. Bring down my extension lines like so. Let me just clean this one up, and then we'll do the overall. So remember, I did not put that first level of dimension because there's no overall measurement. And finally, let's do this side. Let's do from here to here, bring it out about 1200, 4 feet, and then, sorry, let me continue right here, and this one right here. Right, so the distance from the door to the corner. Right, I need to move this to the outside. Alright, now this is not my wall thickness I'm showing, it's the distance from the door to the corner, but the wall thickness is going to be the same thing. So when I do that one, it's going to be wall from the corner to the inside of the wall, 1800. Notice I'm bringing my hand all the way out when I type 1800 or 1200. I'm doing that because sometimes I need to do wall thickness. Let me just use here and here. Alright, I do that sometimes because sometimes when you don't bring your hand out, AutoCAD, or you type the right distance, AutoCAD does not actually put the dimension line, the distance that you typed, away from it. So if sometimes I might come here and I type, let's say 2400, and it's gonna come in here. So I find it works when I bring my hand out here and I type 2400, it snaps back into the correct place. Alright, so there we have it. The dimensions, I think I just need to pull this one back up here. Alright, that seems fine. Good. So we have that, and then let's make this simple. We're gonna put what's this? The name of the drawing, floor plan, and then I'm going to draw a line underneath it, and then I'm going to just make a copy of this, pick it up here, put it below, and this I'm going to edit the text and say scale 1 to 50. Alright, this should be on my text layer, so there it is. Alright guys, so this is a quick review, hopefully it was quick enough, of a floor plan. It doesn't matter if it's 3 rooms, if it's 30 rooms, 100 rooms, the principle is the same. You're going to build one room at a time, build your way outwards, and do the next rooms. Put in your doors and your windows, hatch. You can do the dimensions, or you can put the roof outline first, it doesn't really matter. Once you're done that, everything is clean, you put your title on the drawing. Now I'm going to do something that I don't usually do. I'm going to put it on paper one time just so you could see. So double click on the inside here, and then just center this, and then I'll set the scale to 1 to 50, right? Notice that the lines, just double click on the outside, notice that the lines are, where is it? They are not, they're showing up nicely right here, but they're not showing up in the layout. Okay, let me see if I could just regen all. Okay, so I might need to type PS paper space line type scale and change it from 0 to 1. I believe it was already changed. I don't know. Right. So once I regen all, after that, it shows up as it should. You would edit your candidate number and your school number, put your correct stuff here. So my candidate number would be whatever xxx. All right, and that's it. Just right click, plot. As you finish one drawing, put it on paper, save it immediately. Take a look at it before you export it and save it. I would advise you to save it on your desktop. Let me just put it. Let's call this floor plan. Maybe you should name it your candidate number. Whatever, just in case. All right, good. So there we have our floor plan exported and ready to go. Remember to drop a like on the video if this is helpful. Subscribe if you want to see much more of these videos. I think I'm going to do a whole series of a more complicated drawing later on in the future. All right, this is where I'm going to leave this one. Until next time.